All right. Well, the NFL was fun on a Monday here in the month of June. They got June started off properly with trades galore. Plus, got a quarterback that is leaving the NFL to join CBS. You got Illinois deciding whether when they're going to vote on a new Bears stadium in the fall, and lots going on in the National Football League. Even though it is June 1st, and we're getting ready for the beginning part of the season, or really the offseason, with a lot of just different training camps. But two big trades that happened on Monday of this week. The first one was the Cleveland Browns traded Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Jared Verse and some draft picks. And I look at this initially as, obviously, the big winner to me is the Los Angeles Rams in getting Myles Garrett. Jared Verse is one of the better players in the National Football League on his way up. So maybe they replace Myles Garrett with a younger, talented player in Jared Verse. They pick up some draft picks, the Browns do. But this is the Rams, and this is their MO. They trade for top talent around the NFL, and draft picks be damned.
Yeah, and this is so the official trade is Myles Garrett going to Los Angeles. Jared Verse is going back to Cleveland along with a first round draft pick in 27, a second rounder in 28, and a third rounder in 29. So that's the haul that's going back to Cleveland in this trade. But yeah, this is the Rams' MO: get and keep, or try your best to keep big time professional proven talent. And draft picks are just that. They're potential, they're draft picks, they're prospects, as we say in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of keeping draft picks, because that's where you improve your depth of your team. But the Rams have proven that they can do it. I mean, this is, like we said, this is the norm for them. They did this in 2021 during the offseason when they acquired Matt Stafford in the season in which the Super Bowl was being played in LA before going on to win the Super Bowl. So they mentioned it before. I mean, when they won the Super Bowl, F them picks. We'll try to repeat the history. But even then, like, I thought when they made that trade for Stafford, it's like, all right, well, they're going all in right now. It works out for them if they win the Super Bowl. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, you thought they were going to be bad for like the years
Yeah.
after that, and they weren't. In fact, people were throwing out the rumor that Sean McVay was going to hang it up and go work for TV and just,
Yes.
it's like, all right, I don't know why you'd want to coach this team. They sold everything away, but yet they've still made the playoffs almost year in and year out in Los Angeles since winning the Super Bowl, trading the draft picks, and they just did it again. And just to go through history, since 2016, here are the first round draft picks for the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff, who eventually was traded in the Matthew Stafford deal. 2017, zero number one draft picks. 2018, none. 2019, none. 2020, none. 2021, none. 2022, none. 2023, none. 2024, Jared Verse, who eventually gets traded in the Myles Garrett deal. 2025, none. 2026, Ty Simpson. I would assume that Ty Simpson might be getting traded in a couple of years, maybe for, I don't know, Joe Burrow, maybe some big time player. I mean, this is very on par for the Rams. Not surprised by it. I think it could work out for both teams. I mean, I think the Browns' track record makes me a little skeptical about this move, but I love the deal for the Rams. And as for the Browns, I think it remains to be seen. But it's not like they're not getting a good player back in Jared Verse. He's one of the better players in the National Football League, and only been in the league for a couple of years. The other trade that happened. Now, we got wind of this over the weekend that it was only a matter of time before A.J. Brown got dealt to the New England Patriots, because it was rumored that he was going to be traded to the Patriots within 24 hours. And then all of a sudden it finally went through, later in the day on Monday. But you know what? You get A.J. Brown out of Philadelphia, who's had his issues in Philly. He's still one of the better receivers in the National Football League. He's older now, so I don't know how much explosive production he's going to have. But, the Patriots get another weapon for Drake Maye. I like the move for both sides. It might work out maybe more for the Eagles at the end of the day, but the Patriots get a receiver that's a dynamic player that can help Drake Maye out.
Yeah, and again, this trade, Eagles agreed to the trade. A.J. Brown to the Patriots for a first-round pick in 28 and a fifth-round pick in 27. So it took a first-round pick to get him, and this is honestly the first time that I can remember since Randy Moss that the Patriots have really had a true number one wide receiver, a guy that they can go to, a guy that you can trust to make the big play when needed. I know Julian Edelman was there for a long time. He was really good. I wouldn't put him on the same on the same level as a guy like Randy Moss or AJ Brown when he's at his best.
I like that move too. I mean, so those are the two big trades that happened in the NFL. How about this? Quarterback Russell Wilson is finalizing a deal to become a CBS Sports analyst, according to Adam Schefter today. He also had an offer on the table from the New York Jets to join the team as a backup to Geno Smith. Had acknowledged last month in New York Post that he was considering joining CBS Sports, but Wilson, a 10-time Pro Bowl selection who won a Super Bowl and a prestigious Walter Payton Man of the Year award during his career, is now set to leave the NFL as a player to become an analyst on the network's pregame show that includes James Brown, Nate Burleson, and Bill Cowher. They did not specify whether or not Wilson is retiring as a player or simply taking a pause on his playing career. To me, it'd probably be the most beneficial for him to just retire and go into television. Don't have to work as much. It's going to be a lot easier. But it sounds like he will replace Matt Ryan with CBS after the former quarterback left the network this offseason and returned to the Falcons as the organization's president of football. So Wilson's 37 years old. You know, he's thrown for over 46,966 yards. Not a bad move, I think, for Wilson, because I honestly don't think, he's in the world of being able to be a starting quarterback anymore in the NFL.
No, if I were him, I would say to the Jets, if anything, because this is how I am. Let me throw for 44 more yards and then I'll retire. Pay me $20. Give me 40. Let me throw for 44 more yards to get me over 47,000. And then that'll be it. It's time, but it really, really is. Third on the most passing touchdowns since 2012 with 353 behind Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford ahead of Tom Brady by 4. So yeah, he's had a great career, an illustrious career. He'll be remembered forever for bringing Seattle their first Super Bowl championship, but it's time.
Last thing for you, Illinois lawmakers adjourned in the 2026 spring legislative session early Monday morning without passing a bill aimed to keep the Chicago Bears from leaving the state. At 11 p.m. on Sunday, Illinois State Senator Bill Cunningham introduced new legislation that would allow Cook County cities with more than 70,000 residents like Arlington Heights and Chicago to create their own sports stadium authority. The Bears would pay for the construction of the new stadium, which the franchise has dedicated $2 billion in funding toward, and the land would be publicly owned. The measure was introduced as another path towards solving the Bears' desire for property tax certainty. Under this proposal, the Bears would not be required to pay property taxes after paying to build the stadium, but would have to pay property taxes on the rest of the development. Once the stadium is complete, the team would then turn it over to a new municipal stadium authority, which would lease the building to the Bears. Illinois is trying to do everything they possibly can to keep the Bears in the state of Illinois. Obviously, that's a lot of income for the state of Illinois. Again, if they move to Indiana, it's just outside the city limits of Chicago. It's not that far. They'd probably still be called the Chicago Bears, but the state of Illinois is going to try to do everything they possibly can to keep the Bears there. And I would imagine the Bears probably want to stay in the Chicago area as much as possible, but it is a business, and we know how teams relocate, move, and get a stadium deal. It's usually wherever it's going to cost the least amount of money to build a brand new state-of-the-art facility is where those teams are going to go.
I can't imagine the Chicago Bears with the history that they have in the league, being in the league for over 100 years. I can't imagine them not being called the Chicago Bears at some point. And I think because of that, Illinois is doing its best to try to keep them in Chicago or in the Chicago area. And it sounds like potentially the fall is when the next vote is going to come up for this.
Yeah, it passed in the Senate, the Illinois Senate, 37-17 at 3:39 in the morning, Monday today.
So they weren't trying at all.
Yeah, and the House adjourned after 4:30 in the morning without taking a vote. So the House still needs a vote on it. Sounds like they're going to wait until the end of the summer to potentially do that. I mean, the Bears say they still plan to follow the same timeline they have publicly committed to for months and soon decide between building their stadium in Arlington Heights, Illinois, where the team owns 326 acres of property on a former site of Arlington International Racecourse, or in Hammond, Indiana. So we'll see. I think either way, they're going to be called the Chicago Bears, but a lot to update you on the National Football League this week.